famous people write books. True or false? My guest today always thought only famous people wrote books. She quickly realized that this wasn't true after she read Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Work Week. Tim said that you don't have to be someone famous in order to write a book. You just need to go out and interview famous people. And that is what she did. And in that process, she built herself a book writing and publishing business. Hello and welcome to Season 5 of the Womenpreneur Asia podcast, and I'm your host, Krista Good. My mission is to uncover the stories and strategies of Asian women entrepreneurs in Asia to help you as you navigate your own business journey. This episode is brought to you by Redbox Studio. If you want to be kept updated on new episodes, join my email list that you can find on womenpreneurasia.com. Now, today's episode is with an entrepreneur from Singapore, Pearlin Siow. This journalist turned entrepreneur published her first book, a bestseller, in 2002 and incorporated her business after that when clients came knocking on her door. She calls herself the Book Mama, or founder at Boss of Me, a boutique book writing and publishing business. What's interesting are the parallels in today's episode, such as communications, journalism, book writing, stories, and taking action. While Pearlin works with print, I work with audio, but we share the same ideas about putting more women's stories out there. Let's get started. Hi, Pearlin. Welcome to Womenpreneur Asia.
Hi, Krista. Thanks for having me.
So, Pearlin, let us start at the very beginning. You are an author of not just one book, but of 4 books. Am I right?
Yes. Correct.
And were you always a writer, an author?
Yes, I did mass communications in RMIT. So one of my majors was journalism. After I graduated, I did become a journalist. I was at the Singapore Press Holdings, which is the main newspaper for Singapore. And I was doing lifestyle features, and then I joined the magazine site, and I was doing also like fashion and lifestyle stories for them. At the back of my head, I did always want to write a book, but I was thinking to myself, who would read my book? Because I'm a nobody, right? So who would want to pick up my book? And then I came across The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. And he wrote that you don't have to be someone famous to write a book. All you have to do is go out and interview famous people. So that was like a light bulb moment for me. I was like, hey, I can do that. I'm a journalist. I can interview people, no problem. So I approached 20 top entrepreneurs in Singapore. And I wrote my first book called Boss of Me. And it was actually a bestseller. So using that since I'm on that motivational streak, right? So I continued to write 2 more books, compilation books. One about passive income, and the other one was internet marketing. And then I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm tired. I need to take a break. So that was my start.
But how long did it take you to write the first book?
It was very fast because for me, right, when I'm very inspired and very excited, I work very fast. So within, I think, 3 or 4 months, I managed to get all my interviews done and write the book. And I actually just wrote out a very simple 2-pager book proposal to a book publisher. And I sent it out before I even changed my mind. I just okay, I just do it. I just send it out. And next day, they replied to me and said they are keen to publish my book. So I think it's really, when you want something and you take action, the universe will conspire to make it happen. It's about manifestation, right?
Yeah. That sounds really like such an amazing way to get started into book writing and being an author. Were you surprised that when you approached the people to interview, what were some of their initial reactions or comments?
Fortunately, they were very supportive. I'm amazed because you have to share with them your intention, and if your motives are sincere and you come across as someone that is not out there to just use their name in vain, but really like sharing inspiring stories and wanting to help other people with their stories, most of them were very, very, very forward, and they even referred their friends to me. Yeah.
How did you get
rejections?
How do you get all this
context?
Context.
Google, internet. And just, going out there and just sending an email out, calling. Yeah. These days you can reach almost anyone, really.
Yeah. And how many years ago was that first book?
Wow. 2002. That was 10 years ago.
Wow, that's a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And since then, what has happened in your life ever since you published it?
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, after 3 books, I said I need to take a break. I'm tired. And interestingly, one of my interviewees from my 3rd book about internet marketing, he approached me and said, "Can you write a biography for me, my own book?" I was nervous. I was like, can I really write a book about just one person? But despite my nervousness, I just said yes, I can. What I feel is that the universe does give you many opportunities, and it's really up to you to say yes and take it. If not, it goes away. So that's what I did. I said I can do it, even though I had no idea how to do it. And then I started writing his book, and he referred his mentor to me. So that was how it started, and the rest is history, I guess.
So from that, you launched your publishing business.
I did not launch anything. Everything happened really organically. I was like, okay, I'll write for this guy. I'll write his book. And he referred his mentor to me. And then suddenly more and more people came forward and asked me to write a book. And that's when I said, okay, I cannot just do it, so ad hocly. I need to incorporate a business. I need to, make everything more professional. And that's when I started my website, privatized my business and all that. Yeah. And that was about like a year after. So about 2003 when I incorporated Boss of Me, my company, after my first book. Named after my first book.
So did you have to leave your full-time employment? Or you left it already when you were writing?
Yeah, I was already, actually, I took a break from working and I was teaching Pilates on a part-time basis. Yeah, I just wanted to take a break from corporate life. So I was free and easy. So yeah, I did not have to leave a job or anything. Yeah.
And so now you are publishing. Is there a specific genre that you publish?
Yeah, so right now I run Boss of Me, which is a book writing agency for people. I help people to ghostwrite and self-publish their books. Mostly business biographies, business management books. I did a couple of like 1 or 2 parenting books, but that's quite unusual. But my main forte and focus is on business. Because that's always been my interest. I've always been very interested in how people meet their success and all. The rags to riches stories. I've always been very interested in that. I'm blessed because I get to be up close and personal with so many top entrepreneurs. Many people would probably like just give anything to be in my position because I get to ask them all kinds of questions about their success. Basically, it's like almost like an intense MBA course with each book. Yeah, and just having them pour out their feelings, their thoughts. Some of the top entrepreneurs even broke down during our interviews, because when they talk about their past, they get very moved by how much their parents have done for them, etc., etc. So I'm like, in a very, very privileged position, I would say.
And for most people, this is probably the first time that they have to open up because it's a book, right? Yeah. You have to open up, completely.
It really is. A book. Yeah, you have to bare your soul. And a lot of them was very cathartic because they never really went so deep into their thoughts and their emotions. That's why they cry, because it's like a therapy session.
I sometimes get that too on my podcast.
I can imagine.
Yeah, there are some women who are on my podcast. As I ask more about their family and their background and their upbringing, it starts going. It gets into their memory. They really go back in time and they really think about things.
See
that
how
really
far they
them,
come, right? Yeah. It's like, and then feel so emotional. Yeah.
So both of us actually have a very privileged position in trying to dig people's secrets out of them.
Yes. We are given permission to be kepo, and be rewarded for it.
Were you always very inquisitive about business? I mean, I know you mentioned that you were very excited to find out about people and how they, how their businesses are run. But you always was there anyone in your family who was in business?
Not really. My dad was doing some, but it's mostly like family business. not much like starting your own from nothing, Yeah. So for me, I just don't know why, but I've always been very intrigued by how people make their money, rags to riches stories. Yeah. So I used to just devour all the biographies out there, and now I'm doing it, so it's great.
So you're living the life that everyone wants to live.
That I want to live. Not everybody. Not everybody loves business. It may be very super boring for them, but to me, I love it. Right? Yeah. For you and me.
Yeah. So describe a typical day for you as a business owner of a boutique publishing business.
I have to say that now it's my 9th year. So when I first started, I did everything myself, which was crazy because I wrote the books, I closed the deals, I did the production side, the editing, the book design. Of course, I work with people to design the books, but I was just liaising with so many people and doing so many things, and I almost burnt out after my 2nd or 3rd year, and I decided that I cannot do this anymore. I'm not giving the quality output that I'm happy about. And I'm feeling very drained. And I don't know how long I can carry on. That's when I started to think, okay, what do I want to focus on? What do I enjoy the most? And to me, that's to meet people, to talk to them, and to also the client liaison part. So, and I managed to now form a very lean but highly skilled team to assist with me. So I am not so bogged down by everyday day-to-day stuff. Most of my work is now about meeting clients, closing deals, working with them on the book structure, getting all the interviews, content, everything, things that I enjoy doing. And then the rest of it, I will just pass it to people who are experts in what they do, So I think things are more balanced now. I'm able to wake up, go for a workout, maybe have lunch with some friends. I work best in the afternoon after lunch. So that's my working period when I will start to plan my work, check emails, do editing. And then by the evening, I'll still continue to check my emails because I'm a bit of a workaholic and I don't like to see unread emails. So I'll still continue to check. Right? Yeah, I can still continue to check. And then by 9, I'm like, okay, no more electronic stuff. I'll unwind.
That sounds like a good lifestyle.
Yeah, it is. For me, it's important that I put myself first, I need to make myself feel good, be healthy. Because when you write, right, or you do work, you can sit for 4 hours straight on a chair. And if your back is not strong and you're not, fit, you're going to have a sleep days, I think. So to me, I do yoga. I keep myself active so that I eat well so that I can be at my best. And then when you're at your best, you can work the best, right? That's what I feel.
Yeah. And so in that manner, I see that you've really set up a business that works for you.
Yes.
Works for you in the sense that it fits your lifestyle, it fits what you want to do and achieve in your life for yourself. So in the early days, were there any difficulties? I know that you mentioned that, one job led to another or one, client led to another, but were there any challenges in the early years? Besides, of course, you mentioned you burnt out, right?
Yeah. That was my main challenge, actually. I have to say I've been quite blessed. Again, it comes down to, I think, your mission, your purpose in life. For me, I always feel like my mission and purpose is to help people fulfill their dreams and write books that will impact others, impact readers. So that's always been my goal in life. And I think once you're on your purpose and your mission and your focus, things move fairly smoothly and successfully, I think. Yeah. So thankfully, I have to say in the last 9 years, things have been very smooth. It also helps that when you start off working with people who are quite prolific, high net worth, because they will somehow refer you to their peers and you are automatically validated and credible in their eyes because you have worked with their friends. And it helps in that way to open doors. In terms of marketing, I have to say I'm very slack. I don't do much. I don't even have an Instagram or Facebook account for my company. So I have a website. My website is surprisingly ranked high on Google. So I get a lot of queries from my website as well. And social media helps a lot because people share their books right on their Facebook, on Instagram, and then they tag you, and then it helps to promote you automatically to their friends. So that has really helped me in marketing my services.
I also see that on your website that you have a lot of blog posts. You write a lot also. So you also talk to other authors, to other people who are writing or producing books, right? So how do you find the time to do all these things while still running that part where you need to be liaising with your clients?
Those who have written many, when I first started my website, I actually had a whole compilation of blog articles. So it's a matter of just uploading them. I don't do them on a regular basis. That was a long time ago. Yeah. You done your research. Yeah, that was a long time ago when I was, I actually wanted to write a book about how to write books. Then I changed my mind. Because marketing a book is quite tiring, and I don't think I have the stamina for that. And I don't think I want to put myself out there. I prefer to be behind my laptop and just helping people with their books. So I decided to just transform all my chapters into blog articles. So that helped, because always it's useful to have blog articles attached to your website. I think it helps with Google, SEO and all that.
I think that really helps with your Google ranking as well.
SEO. Yeah. Maybe that's why my website is ranked high. Yeah. Because people go there and there are things to read and they stay there for a while and it's relevant to them because when they search book writing.
I stayed there for a long while. I was like, wow, interesting. I was like, reading. It didn't end because it was like after that one article, then I continued with the next one because I was thinking, well, interesting because it was really about a person and how that person wrote his book or her book. I think you hit on a pretty good strategy as well.
I actually shared all my secrets, not so secret anymore. Actually, if you are interested to write a book, you can just go to my website and look through all the articles because I do share what it takes to write a good book proposal, what you should send to a publisher, and how so all my tips are there. So
now we're talking about tips. So let's get maybe your top 3 tips. The rest they can read on your blog.
I think on the writing, it helps to read a lot. You have to read, and there's no way you can write without reading. So for me, I've always been reading. You find books everywhere in my house. And also practice writing. Nowadays I find that the millennials, they are using short form for everything. And their spelling is atrocious and the grammar is atrocious. I think you should still try to retain good writing. Your emails, it's professional, So for me, I always try to write properly as much as I can. Don't lose that because if you lose that, you lose touch, your writing will suffer. And I think having interest in people, when you are truly interested in someone, you know what questions to ask, and then when you get the right information, it makes for good content, right? So that's good writing.
And if what the person comes to you and say, Pearlin, I love to write a book, but I don't really read so much.
It's okay because most of my clients have no time to read. They're so busy building $1 billion, $1 million businesses. So that's why I come in to help them, They all have the information all in their head, all the stories, their tips, their experiences. So for me, my job is to draw it out of them. So I will talk to them and see, okay, what's your angle? Help them with their structure. So because sometimes they want everything. Not everything is interesting. I know what makes a good book. So I will tell them, okay, maybe you don't need this part, you add this part, elaborate on this part. So that's really, really my role when it comes to writing books.
And how long does a typical book project like this take?
I would say 8 to 12 months to be fair, but sometimes I get good clients who are very fast and efficient, then things work faster. The delay largely lies with the clients because sometimes they're so busy, they have no time to review. At the end of the day, they have to review everything. It's their facts. I cannot help them with that. So they have to read the book at least once, edit everything that's wrong, and then, so they have to do their homework. So if that's delayed, then the book gets delayed. So, and my job is also, I spend a lot of my time chasing people like a school teacher. Have you done your homework? Have you done your homework? Yeah. Yeah, so the
But
clients
how,
are very
but
used
how
to me
many how
bugging
many
them.
contact sessions do you have with them? Is it true like you record them, or do you sit down
Yeah.
and really have a conversation like this, or do you
Yes,
have to?
almost similar to this. Almost similar.
Okay.
Sometimes because of COVID and everything, right? Zoom
Yeah.
is now
The-
I'm able to do book interviews via Zoom and Teams or any of these virtual apps. Before that, I will definitely meet them face to face. So now I get clients like Saudi Arabia, UK, whatever, no problem because everything is virtual these days. So usually once I get the book structure firmed up, then we will plan a date for the interview. Takes about maybe 2 to 3 sessions for the first draft, the skeleton. And then I will write. And once I see the skeleton, I'll be able to see which parts need to be elaborated on. And then if the follow-up sessions are required. Yeah. So that's usually how a book builds up slowly.
and then you will get the information and write
I
it.
will meet the client again and get all the information, then add it to the book draft, and keep fine tuning it until they're happy.
Okay. Have there been clients who have like told you in the middle of the project that they want to add more stuff, more
Of course,
stories?
they have all kinds of people, all kinds of clients, right? Generally, my clients are they are very nice people. They are very accepting of my suggestions. But there are some people, of course, they will change their minds often, and I allow maybe 2 to 3 edits, and after that it's chargeable. Of course, you have to. It's a business after all. So they will have to pay for the changes if they want to.
So this keeps them on track of not adding too much, right? Because I see I'm sure they're excited. I'm sure they say, oh, but I want to add the story or this specific anecdote that didn't make it into the book yet.
Well, if it's small things, I'm quite flexible on small things like, oh, I'm gonna add this, add that. But there has to come to a time where you cannot add anymore, right? It's like, okay, final, we have to go to print. You have to close the book now. But usually, unless it's a big change, like, oh, I want to change my book angle totally, I need another set of interviews, then we have to discuss again, like,
has that ever happened?
Like extra.
Has that
Thank
ever happened?
goodness. Not so bad. Yeah, not so bad. Yeah. Nothing major has happened. Yeah. Sometimes the clients, they will say, oh, okay, then, the worst that's happened is when the book did not make to print because the client changed his mind. Suddenly, like, got cold feet, it's too personal. I'm not ready for the world to read all my private stories, so maybe take a KIV for a while. So, okay, work's done. What can I do, right? So, give them time to decide when they're ready.
Well, that's also a pretty interesting development in the book process where they
it's a very private, very private process. They're sharing all these secrets, their thoughts to the world. So they need to be ready for that.
So in your case, would there be anything that you like to debunk about this industry? Since you've been in the industry for so long.
I feel that people think that, books are dying. But actually, right, thanks to COVID, I think books are getting a revival, a huge revival. Like sales have gone up all over the world because people are stuck in their little world. They can't travel, they can't do anything. So I think the book has allowed them to travel to places that they are not allowed to go. So I think it's really helped people retain their sanity and peace by escaping into their world of books. And also, print books are more popular than ebooks. People want to feel the tactile feel of a book, to touch the pages, to flip the pages, to smell the book. So I think all that is coming back.
Are you personally a tactile person?
Yes, when it comes to books, I am. I don't like reading ebooks. I don't know. I just find the whole experience very cold. Doesn't do anything for me. But I like to hold the book, touch the pages, even if it's brown or it's old, it's got character, a connection to the author when you hold the book.
Yeah. And I was thinking that, like for a book publisher like yourself, of course the physical book is always exciting, right? When you first open up the box of books that come into your office and then you hand it over to your client. So what was the latest book that you did? Like you had that physical physical feeling or excitement?
Actually, all the books were sent directly to my clients, to their offices, their homes. So they will send me photos of their first book, or the unboxing of the video of the box. And I feel that excitement. I share a lot. And this year has been very lucky for me. All my books actually went on the Amazon bestsellers list. So my clients are, of course, delighted. Thank you. And more to them. I'm just like helping them to get the book out. So they're like delirious with excitement. Not only are they getting their first book out, it also hit the bestseller list. So it's double excitement, double joy for them. So I really am very privileged and happy to share that. Yeah, every book to me, even though it's I have to say it's my I've already done 50 over books. I'm currently working on my 6th year, I think. It still feels like a brand new baby each time. And it never gets old, I think.
What about yourself? Since all the books that you do for your clients are sent directly to them in their offices or their homes, what about yourself? When do you have any plans to do any of your own books now? Or probably in the next
people
year?
have asked me actually. Yeah, a lot of people have asked me. So why don't you write your own book? Strangely, right? I'm like, write about what?
Yourself, your biography.
That being said, though, I'm reaching out and I do want to get more female authors, more female clients coming to me. Right now, I have to say only 10% of my clients are females. And it's very funny because when you meet a male client, they're very confident. They always say that, okay, I'll do 1 book, I'll do 3 books, I'll do a trilogy, I'll share my life with so many people. But when you talk to women, they'll be asking me questions like, do you think my story is interesting? Do you think people will read my book? And all these doubts about their story, their life. And I'm like, yes, that's why I'm meeting you. I really truly think that you have a very good story. You can inspire people. So yeah, that's my goal, my mission, to try and increase my number of female clients. So if you're a female leader listening to this, please hit me up.
please get in touch with Pearlin so that you can get your story out there. Like exactly like what you were saying, right? Like I think women often hesitate.
Yeah.
They hesitate a lot more than men. Men will just go in there and say, like you said,
men
trilogy.
are all out. Yeah, correct. No doubts, no questions about themselves.
I still remember, a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to a business owner and he was telling me, I'm going to produce my book. And I'm like, good for you. But, he said it so confidently and I bet probably he hasn't even started.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so really, I hope to change this and have more female clients eventually, hopefully.
And I hope that we can help you with that.
Yes.
As more and more people listen to this episode and get to know you and your mission for publishing more women. What kinds of women are you looking for? Are you looking for the women CEOs? Are you looking for anyone like, maybe middle and above?
And I feel everyone has a story to share. I believe that my skill is to bring the story out of each person. We all have our own journey, right? And it's not for us to say your journey is boring, your journey is not good enough. So it's a matter of really structuring it, packaging it nicely. Yeah, and everyone has lots of inspiring stories, I'm sure, to share. It's a matter of just drawing out them. Like you do, what you do for this podcast.
Yeah. So both of us work in different ways, but our intention is the same. We intend to draw out the stories from women specifically because I think that's really hard. Because like you said, right?
Do you feel that when you ask women to be on your podcast, they tend to reject you and say, no, not me, I'm not good enough?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I do get that. And some of them say that they have nothing to share. And I say that everyone has something to share.
Correct.
It's just that sometimes they just feel that their lives are so humdrum, so mundane, so everyday that they feel that there's nothing spectacular. But every time I talk to anyone, any woman, and I say, wow, it was such a good story. Why don't you tell the world? And they're like, no, I don't think it's good enough. The good enough part is the part that scares them.
Yeah. I think we are too hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
We hold ourselves, we have very high standards of ourselves. We always think that we need to be this perfect, wife, mother, colleague, everything has to be perfect, then we are good enough. But imperfections are actually the more interesting part, actually, I feel.
And I think that if we have more and more stories out there, I think people will start to feel that they also have, a right to share their story and a right to tell other people. Because in all of stories, I believe that there are some lessons to be learned,
Yes.
some wisdom to be shared. And
yeah, definitely.
If we can learn some life hacks, I think we can be
correct.
better.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's been through stuff, and by sharing your lessons, your experiences, you will help so many others who are going through the same thing.
So in your case, what are some of the more interesting clients that you work with that you can share with us?
I have had, my first client was a homemaker, and she wanted to write a parenting book. And she came to me and said, "This is my book." And I looked at her notes, and it was the 100 points. I was like, okay. And it was my first time doing the ghostwriting, right? So I'm like, how do I transform these 100 note points into a book? But we did it. Eventually, we did it. And funny thing is, I'm not a parent. I have no kids of my own. But yet I was able to help her write a parenting book. So I felt like that was really, it was really a validation on my part to be able to ghostwrite anything. If I can write a parenting book, I can ghostwrite anything. Yeah. So that's interesting.
Was that something that because she knew that you could help her with that, therefore she came and approached you? Or was she referred?
She was referred by a friend who knew I write. But I have no experience besides writing my own books to ghostwrite for someone on behalf of them. So that was actually my first project, and it was a test for me to see whether I could do it as well. And thankfully, I passed the test.
Is it harder to ghostwrite than to write your own books?
No. Now I think about it, when I first started, I thought it would be easier to write my own books, right? Because it's my own thoughts. But now I think about it, I find it easier to write for other people because I'm basically just like a vessel. They tell me all the information and I just write it in the way that is grammatically correct and easy to read and nice to read. So it's much easier. I don't have to think so much. Of course, the thinking part comes when it comes to structuring it and making sure that it flows nicely. There's a jigsaw puzzle thing where it fits. Yeah. But other than that, I don't have to worry about what stories to add because it's all from them. Yeah, so I find that it's easier.
It's easier to write their books than
to write for other people.
Book.
Yes. Right now,
I thought it'd be easier to write your own book because all the ideas are in your head and just put them down on paper or keyboard.
Maybe just not in that mode, not in that zone right now. So it's really all about other people now. Yeah.
How were you like growing up? Were you always into books?
Yes. I mean, I was a total bookworm, My glasses were like Coke bottle thick. I read constantly, even my mom said, bedtime, but I'll be underneath the covers trying to read in the moonlight. So that's why my eyesight became so bad. So, I was always reading and always dreaming. I remember, my composition in class. The teacher thought my composition was really good, so she just passed my composition book, my composition around the class for them to read. But when she was complimenting me, I was really daydreaming out the window. My head was already in the clouds, not even listening to her and what she's saying. So I was always I would say I was a daydreamer and a bookworm. Luckily for me, my mom, she pandered to all my whims and she bought me all the books that I wanted. So I had shelves overflowing with books. Annie Blyton, all the childhood authors. I had them all. Yeah. So that's how I was as a child. Yeah.
What do you like or enjoy most about your business? I know you've mentioned that just now, but is there anything else?
I really do enjoy meeting my clients and talking to them. I enjoy the fact that my business gives me autonomy over my life, I think, taking control of my life. I'm able to plan my day, not have to go to the office 9 to 5. It's not structured, it's pretty fluid. Yeah, I mean, I'm very blessed and very grateful that I get to do something that I enjoy so much that it's not even work. I'm sure, you feel the same as podcast, it doesn't really feel like work at all.
Yeah, it feels like every time I get into an interview with a guest, I feel like I'm just having a conversation with a friend.
Yeah, correct.
And I like to do all this research about them.
Okay. Yes. So yes, in a way, you're like doing my work, researching them, becoming friends. Some of them become friends, and then a lot of them are very generous. Like they refer their friends to me, and they even like arrange meetings with their friends and introduce me to them. So all my most of my work, almost my clients are through referrals and word of mouth, really.
If you could turn back the clock and knowing what you know now, what would you tell a younger version of you about business?
About business, I would say that believe that you can change, you can make things happen, believe that things will come your way if you believe strong enough. And I'm a big believer in manifesting your dreams. I always feel like if you are sincere, you do the work, you are intentional, things will happen for you. So I guess when you're young, you are kanchong, right? You're very anxious, can't wait for things to happen. You want to do so many things. You're constantly thinking about the next thing. So now that I am in my 40s, I'm more chill. If a book deal doesn't happen, it's okay. Another one will come along, or it could be another blessing in disguise, actually, because another one will come. Another book deal that will come that's so big that requires your entire team. So it's shown, in the past to be that way. So I always feel like, don't panic, don't be anxious. Just take it easy and believe and trust the process.
I think when we hit our 40s, we all get a bit more chill, I think.
Yeah,
you got too much already, right? In our 20s and 30s.
Very comfortable in your skin, I think. And then you are like, okay, you have work is important still, yes, but it's not your priority. It's not like the number one most important thing in your life. You have to achieve and be a CEO. If not, you're gonna, I don't know, fail. For me, it's not that anymore. I mean, it's more about living a life that I curate, that I enjoy, and that is authentic. That's me.
And what are you no longer afraid of?
In the beginning, when you start a business, you always worry whether you'll be able to sustain you, whether you are able to, how long more can you do this, right? Those are the thoughts in your head when you first start. Of course, that was my initial thoughts as well. So I was trying to do everything all on my own and trying to keep costs so low because I was afraid that if I hired people, whatever, I will not be able to pay them. And now I'm very surprised that I have been doing this for 9 years, looking back, and things have been so great, so smooth. Yeah. So I'm no longer afraid whether my business is sustainable anymore, because I know it is.
And what's the craziest thing you've ever done?
When I was 24, I decided I was bitten by the .com bug, right? Everyone was .com this, .com that, .com this. So I was like, okay, I want the .com also. So I want to open a website and I want to barter. I want people to barter things on my website. So I started a barter website. And I raised funds, I even convinced my boyfriend then to leave his job to join me. So together, the two of us, two young punks, were presenting to heavyweight investors and talking to clients and networking at all these networking events. I even sent an email out to Melinda Gates, Bill Gates' wife, and she even replied to me. She's like, "Thank you for your interest in our fund, but we're not looking at what you're doing at the moment." I mean, that was like the biggest thrill in my life, right? To get a reply from her. Could be her PA, but whatever, it still came from her. So I guess that was like one of the most exhilarating periods of my life. 6 months of hustling, and then the .com bubble burst in 2000, and all the funds dried up. So it was back to nothing. But I wouldn't regret that whole period at all because it was so exciting. I learned so much. I really learned to grow a thick skin. I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. I can approach investors no matter who they are. I can find and locate people online and write them an email. So that really was like my MBA in business, I would say.
So would you suggest that to anyone who's really looking to learn more about business is to just go ahead and jump right in to do it?
Well, if you're young, I feel if you're young, you have no obligations and no financial obligations, sure, I think that's the best time for you to try everything, just jump straight into it. That's what I did. But I guess a lot of people now, it's quite difficult because they have families, there are people who depend on them. Then what you could do is you could do something on the side first, start small, see where it takes you. Some people even have a full-time job and another very successful side business. So things like that happen, especially with the internet, you can have virtually any kind of business you want now. So that is very possible. Yeah, definitely go for it if you have any ideas.
And what about a personal goal that you're currently focused on?
I used to think that I would stop, right? I would not stop, right? I want to hit 100 books. That was my goal. Now I'm at my 60th already. So
it's quite attainable.
Yeah, I know. It's like, another 4 more years I could be there already. Then what do I do, right? So I think I have to find a new goal. I haven't thought about it yet. I mean, I'm still really just living the moment, enjoying every year, opening myself up to opportunities, like who will I meet this year? Who will be my clients and where will it take me? So yeah, just being very free and easy, I guess.
And since we talked about craziest thing I've ever done, what about an unusual habit that you have had? If you have any unusual habits.
I would say it's unusual, but for me, I need to do self-care, self-love first before I can work. So you see, right, sometimes my clients want to meet me in the mornings. I'm like, no, I can't. I have an important meeting with myself.
It's a really good tip because a lot of people don't prioritize that. So the client calls, they're like, okay, whatever time you want to have a meeting, we'll have it, right? Late night and all that stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, I used to be like that. I used to be like, yeah, sure, I can meet you anytime, any day, whatever, weekdays, weekends, I'm at your beck and call. But now I'm like, no, I need to get myself, I need to work out, I need to eat, I need to meet my friends for lunch, then we can meet after lunch, or we can do something after lunch. So yeah. And my clients, I think they understand because they follow me on social media, right? They know that I'm constantly like doing stuff like working out. So they're like, okay, or if I go on holiday, they're like, okay. I used to travel before COVID a lot. So they'll be like, oh, okay, traveling again. Yeah.
They must be thinking, wow, she's got a good lifestyle. She works out, she travels, and she gets to write books. Her favorite things to do.
I think it's about choices, right? We all have choices. So it's about making the right choice that you will enjoy and be happy about. Yeah. So, I mean, for me, it's really putting myself first in a way, because if I'm not at my best, I'm not performing at my best for my clients. So that's unfair as well. So I try to be in the best, the best way possible when I start work. Clarity, happy with myself, body is feeling good. Yeah. So then that's when I deliver the best work, I guess.
Well said. And what are you most proud of? I mean, you've been in business for a long time now. What are you most proud of? Or what are some of the milestones that, makes you really happy when you think about in terms of your business?
I'm always happy when clients share their reviews of their books with me, like, oh, wow, they receive all this feedback and reviews for my book. And one of my books, one that my first client's mentor asked me to write, became a Straits Times bestseller. So that was really like one of the highlights of my career, to have your name there in Straits Times, the #1 book. Yeah, so I mean, I've had quite a few bestsellers ever since then, but that was my first. So the first is always the sweetest, right? Yeah. So I mean, to me, it's the happiness of my clients rubs off a lot on me. So when I see them happy, what they've done, the readers being inspired by their books to write to them and tell them how the book has changed their lives, and they share it with me. I mean, all that really, really makes my work so fulfilling and so satisfying.
Do they come back and write book 2 and 3 with you?
Yes. Quite a few of them have written a couple of books, a series.
So really, the trilogy thing is
yes,
is manifesting.
Yeah, all guys.
You see, so we must encourage more women to manifest trilogies, right? Instead of just guys manifesting that.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, guys always have no qualms. Yeah, no qualms about doing a second, third books. Yeah.
And what's that one final key takeaway that you want our listeners to remember as a result of listening to everything that we said today about books, book publishing, writing your own books? What's that one final piece of advice?
I feel like we're all authors of our lives, so it's up to you to what content you want to put in your life, in your book, in your life story. So curate it properly. Do things that when you look back, you'll be happy about, proud of. We're all in control of destiny. So really, just go if you wish, and don't let anything stop you.
And where can people find you online?
You can find me on my website. It's bossofme.sg. Or if you want a more personal take on me, it will be on my IG, Instagram. I can be found at Pearlin. It's my name, Pearlin Siow. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much, Pearlin. I am glad we had this conversation because I think both of us have many similarities. We like digging out stories from people.
Definitely. That's our job.
Yes, and we like talking to people, and but I think at the end of it, I think we're just curious, right? I mean, we can call it kepo,
yes,
but we're actually quite curious about the world around us. And we're really curious about the people.
There's a passion and there's an interest. And I think that's what makes me get drawn to people and want to interview and talk to them. Because there's a curiosity and interest in their lives and how they achieve whatever they achieve. Yeah.
Yeah. In time to come, I'm sure we will be able to get you back again on the podcast. And I hope by then you can tell me, hey, I've written my 100th book.
And I have 50 clients, female clients.
Yes. And I've got more female clients who want to write trilogies.
Yes, thankfully, hopefully.
So that's really a good aim, that's really a good milestone. I'll be very happy when you come back and tell me that. So keep me posted too on the female versus male author ratio in your business.
Yes.
So thank you so much once more. I will see you again.
Thank you, Krista.
Pearlin and I share many similar thoughts about life, although I didn't expressly mention that during an interview. She believes that the universe does come to your aid if you believe in it and took action. She's also someone who enjoys finding out about people and how people make their successes, especially everyday business people, which is exactly what I try to uncover through my podcast interviews too. She likens it to taking an intense MBA each time she interviews someone for their book. She also focuses a lot on self-care, which is greatly important for all entrepreneurs. Pearlin does schedule her business around her self-care and does not put self-care as an afterthought. And she's right, because if we are our best assets, we need to take care of ourselves first. Since we are talking about books, here's a fun fact. I've written and published my own books, so I know exactly how Pearlin feels when a book is out there for the world to read. My first book, Web Wisdom, is having its reprint this month. Another book that I worked on with two friends is an anthology of women's stories titled Step In, which was published and launched this year. Writing a book is a true labor of love, but it is highly satisfying. So if you have a book in you, maybe it's time to consider and start writing that book. So don't forget to visit womenpreneurasia.com for more show notes and subscribe to the newsletter while you're there. I hope you had fun with this episode, and I'll see you next Friday.